If you're a video producer like me, you already know about the coolness factor of what's contained inside this little black box in the form of the DJI mics. But what if I told you you might be able to match the quality, the versatility, and the coolness factor for about a third of the cost? That's what we're investigating today with a little comparison straight ahead on Bill's Tech Tips. Hello friends, Bill Hobson here. Welcome into Bill's Tech Tips. I hope you'll subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of fun here, not just in the world of tech tips, but you'll also find commentary on our culture, insights on faith and family, and yes, we do like to dabble in the gadget world and bring you some insights and maybe some solutions you haven't thought of before. So, it doesn't cost anything. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button and be a part of our journey. In my real life job, we produce a television program seen in about 7.5 million households throughout the Midwest. And as part of that production process, we always wanted to bring the best quality to our viewers. And sometimes, thanks to the innovations in technology, we can find that quality in some consumer level or prosumer level gear. DJI is a great example of that. They do really good stuff, from the drones to the gimbals to the little DJI mics. This little black box packs a powerful punch. But I started wondering recently, is there a way to get this same quality for less? This is $350 to $400 a pop, depending on where you buy your gadgets. So I'm scrolling through my social media feeds, and as you know, it's always listening to you. And I must have mentioned out loud at some point that I was looking in the wireless mic category to see if there was anything like the DJI mics. And lo and behold, what pops up in my feed but the contents of this box. I'm not sponsored. They didn't send it to me for free. I bought it. It was about $105 with shipping, and this is from Neewer. So I thought we would look at it together, do a little comparison between the two, both indoors and outdoors, and at the end I'll come back and bring you my findings, my recommendations on whether or not you can risk veering away from the industry standard and trying out something new. So first, let's do an unboxing of what we just received from Neewer. All right, when I talk about doing an unboxing, I mean literally. We have not touched this since it was dropped off just a few minutes ago. So we will open this together. And again, one of the things we're looking for is a comparison just between the quality of the build. Obviously, we want the quality of the audio to be as good as the DJI mics. But that little black box from DJI really is quite impressive. And is it possible that for less than a third of the cost, we might find its match? Well, that would be fun, wouldn't it? So we dig into what we got from Neewer as we open this box up. A very, very rigid, very well-constructed box. I'm not going to walk you through all the contents. You know what comes with instructions. You know what comes with the gel pack. Everything comes with the gel pack. Has there ever been anything shipped without the gel pack? You do have your instruction manual in here, which, if I were smart, which occasionally I'm accused of not being, I would pour through this to make sure that we're going to use all these things correctly. Because, just like with the DJI mics, there's a lot built into each of the different transmitters through just a couple of buttons. So we will need to get into this here in a few moments. But first, let's continue the unboxing. Here is the main star of the show. We'll come back into the other pouch here in a moment. Let's unfoil it, unwrap it on the bottom. And as we pull open the lid for the first time ever, we've got a pretty robust package in here, and it did come with a little bit of charge because it is lighting up. But one of the things that we have discovered, and you know this already, is that you want to have these mics not only have the ability to plug into your computer or your DSLR cameras, but also into your phone, which means if you don't have an iPhone, you got to have a USB-C input. If you have the iPhone, you need Lightning. Well, guess what? The Neewer has come with both. And here is the Lightning connector. Here is the USB-C connector. And the other end is USB-C on both sides of it. We'll get into that here in a moments ahead. Also, a slightly different display on the receiver, and this receiver shows both mics just like the DJI does. It's going to read them both separately. It is a little bit lighter than the DJI mic, but that's no big deal. You have a headphone out so you can monitor what you're recording. And, I'm sorry, the headphone jack is over here. You have the headphone out to monitor what you're recording, and then you're going to set your various modes using these yellow buttons. The case, just like the DJI, is a chargeable case, USB-C in, so that you can charge everything in here all at once and not have to worry about having a different cable or a different plug, a different adapter for every component of the box. That is the cosmetic representation of what's coming to you from Neewer. The little transmitters are lightweight. They do come with a magnet on them, which will help attach the transmitter inside of your clothing if you wanted to do it that way, or you could do it reverse where the magnet's on the outside and you put this part on the inside. The magnet does not feel quite as strong as the DJI mic, so we'll give that a run a little bit later when we do the side-by-side comparison, but it is right there. It's a little bit smaller. It slides around pretty easily, so we will be interested to see if it can hold up. One other important feature, on the top of both of the transmitters, you do have the 1/8 inch port into which you can plug a lavalier mic. I am not wearing one right now, but 1000% of the time when we're producing for TV, we would never wear one of these mics just with the transmitter showing. We would always have a lavalier mic tastefully affixed to the subject of the interview, or whether it's me doing a stand-up. I want to encourage you all to do it that way. It looks so much more professional when you use a lav mic than when you just stick one of these transmitters on the outside of your lapel or inside your shirt, and you get to see all these lights glowing and things like that. So grab yourself. They're not expensive. You can get expensive lav mics, but they don't have to be expensive. So side by side, let's take them both here side by side for a moment. There's the Neewer, and here is the DJI setup. A couple of things that you can notice right off the bat. The DJI receiver is about twice as wide as the Neewer one. The transmitters are about the same size. The DJI transmitters are quite a bit heftier, quite a bit heavier, but both of them have an ambient mic, both of them have the input for your lavalier mic, and both of them come with windscreens. In fact, let me go back inside the Neewer box. You've got a pair of windscreens, both of which, just like on the DJI, twist into and lock into the top of the transmitter. Your USB-C charging cable. You've got a pair of those actually, so 2 USB charging cables. You've got a mini to mini cable so that you can run your receiver into your DSLR and record directly into your camera, which is really nice to see as well. So that's the contents of the pouch. That's pretty much the contents of the entire box. And I think what's left for us to do now is explore how the various configurations take place inside the transmitters. And to do that, we will want to learn a few things through the manual. So let's take a look in here, and then we'll take these outside and give them a test. The good news is the Neewer CM28s are really easy to use. They're quite convenient, but there are some considerable differences between these and the DJI mics. So let's just walk through a couple of things to make sure you're all aware. The DJIs, of course, the receiver is a touch screen where you would go back and forth between various options by touching the screen, swiping down, swiping left, swiping right. That is not the case with the CM28s. All of your functionality in the receiver is triggered by what happens on this yellow button right here. This is your settings button. And there aren't a lot of settings, but there don't really need to be honest with you. Basically, you're going to switch between stereo, mono, and a safety mode. So I've got it set on stereo right now. If I hold down this little yellow button for a couple of seconds, you will see it switch over, in this case, to the safety mode. If I hold it down for, I think, 3 seconds more, it should switch over to mono, which is what it has just done. So it's not really difficult to switch, and for the most part, if you're going to be recording with multiple people using the mics, I think you would want to just keep it in stereo. So that's kind of how it looks. All the other icons on here, obviously you're seeing the readout of what's coming through these mics right now, still in the case, and they're about a foot away from me, so it's still picking it up pretty well. And everything in here, you can read about the different icons and what they mean. Oh, one more thing before I forget. You can also slide this rather easily into the cold shoe mount on your DSLR camera. And while this receiver is about half the width of the DJI, it fits really nicely onto the to the top of your camera. Now, I mentioned that there are adapters in here. These adapters are for plugging in the receiver to your smartphone. If you have an iPhone, obviously you're going to use this Lightning connector, and the other side, the USB-C side, is going to go into the receiver right here, and now you'll be able to record directly into your phone. I do want to tell you all, and this is true whether you're using the Neewers or whether you're using the DJI mics, I am a huge proponent of always running the backup recorder inside the transmitter. And yes, the Neewer CM28s come with that capability as well, albeit only a 4 gig internal recording device. But that's a lot of audio. 4 gigs is a lot of audio. So now let me walk you through these transmitters and show you how to get them to function to their fullest capabilities, okay? So first of all, on the top of all of the transmitters, you do have a plug-in for your lavalier mic. We talked about that a couple moments ago. We have the windscreens that actually go into the ambient mic, gently turn, twist, and they lock into place. But how do you get things to move to the internal recorder? Pretty simple. You're going to hold down this little yellow button for 2 seconds until you see the red light start to flash. And now that that red light's flashing, you are officially recording to the internal storage. That's it. It could not be a whole lot more simple. We want to stop the internal recording. We hold down for another couple of seconds and that light goes off. As long as you have solid blue, you are paired with the receiver, and that happens automatically when the case opens up. Other than that, folks, all that's left for us to do is to take these little puppies out into the field and see if they're any good from a sound perspective. And spoiler alert, I just did that within the confines of my own studio, and I walked through about 50 feet of space through various walls and all sorts of electronic interference. And they sounded really good. Well, let's take it out and show you what it's like in the field. Okay, we've come outside. It's cold outside, so I've thrown on kind of a thick Under Armour jacket, which is going to put to the test the magnet strength on both the DJI mic and the Neewer CM28. So I've got the magnet square on the inside of my jacket and both of the mics stuck on the outside. I have put both of the windscreens on them because it's pretty breezy out here. I don't know if you can hear that right now or not. So what I'd like to do is I walk further and further away from the camera is I will switch back and forth between the two mics so that you can get a little bit of a feel for how they sound, right? So I guess that's the only real way to do it. I've got the DJI mic on my right and the Neewer mic on my left. I'm going to turn around and move away a little bit. As I tested this out a little bit earlier inside, walking all throughout the studio, wondering if I could find some form of interference that might make it a problem to connect, and it was as good as can be. So right now, I am standing about 100 feet away from the camera. So let me have you listen in to the quality of the DJI mic as I count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You didn't think I could do that, did you? Let's try it now on the Neewer mic. Same thing, same spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see me, but I'll go a little bit further away. Although I can't really imagine how often somebody would need to use a wireless mic so far away that the camera wouldn't be able to pick them up. But here we go again, and you could probably hear my neighbor's dog Marv. You can hear my dog Reggie as we are walking back in on the DJI mic first. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on the Neewer mic on the other side, check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll bring these back into the studio because obviously I can't hear how good they sound, but we have recorded both of them to the internal storage on both of these mics. Again, there's 4 gigs available on the Neewer. I think there's more than that on the DJI, but that's how we will pull the audio in, sync it up with our video, and let you make the judgment for yourself whether or not this Neewer mic, for a third of the cost of the DJI, does the job. Okay, we're back inside the studio now, and just like all of you, this is the first time I've been able to hear for myself the straight up comparison between the Neewer mics and the DJI mics, and I have to say, these held up really, really well. In fact, you are currently hearing me speak into the Neewer CM28 mic plugged into my iPhone, so we can test that iteration. It's the only version that we really haven't tested yet, and I think it sounds really pretty good. Way back at the beginning of the video, I mentioned to you that I'm not a Neewer representative. They didn't send these to me to review. I bought them. They were about $100 or so. Well, over the course of producing this video and listening to the quality of the mic and discovering its versatility, I actually went into the Neewer website and created an affiliate link. So if you decide to take a chance and pick these up for $100 or so to help with your video production, I would really appreciate it if you'd use the link that I have below in the notes. It's a little way to kick back a couple bucks my way and help us continue here on Bill's Tech Tips as we continue trying to help solve problems and introduce solutions. Now make no mistake, head to head, the DJI mics are a little more sturdy. They have a little bit more robustness in their settings, capabilities, and some of the inner workings, but for a third of the price, and for what you have here, the Neewer CM28 is a fantastic value, a really good microphone, and one that I will be using to great lengths in some of the videos that we produce in the days ahead. If you want to give it a chance, please use the affiliate link below. Thank you for being part of Bill's Tech Tips. We'll see you next time.